Hello and welcome to Money Matters. Unrestricted air travel isn't expected to resume until 2023. To satisfy the need to visit new places, live virtual tours have gained traction among South Koreans. So much so that it's becoming a profit-making business. Haley Zhou looks at how this trend is helping struggling tour guides in Hong Kong stay afloat amid the pandemic.
In the busy Gangnam district of the Korean capital Seoul, people are trickling into this movie theater on a Sunday afternoon. Cinema closures amid the pandemic had made the country's moviegoers miss the experience so much that they order out for cinema food, from popcorn to nachos, so that they can enjoy a movie night experience at home. But tonight, it's not a movie they are here for. Here's a clue. A post-COVID box office revival is nowhere in sight. The only screening almost sold out. A live virtual tour of Hong Kong. On February 28th, the first cinema-released virtual tour opened to the public, as theater companies and tour guides realized they could both benefit from the popularity of these tours. It marked the beginning of live virtual travel.
반갑습니다. 안녕하세요.
Virtual tours are happening around the world, but in South Korea, it's becoming a profit-making business. The biggest pull, it's live and interactive.
The virtual tour was not a recorded version, but very live. And it was held in a big theater with big screen, with a big sound. And I really felt like traveling Hong Kong in person. Even it is easy for me to be immersed in the scene. As he went up with the peak tram, and finally we could see the view together. And everybody was like, wow, in the theater. And it was really meaningful and fun. I will definitely try out more virtual tour, even after COVID.
Audiences normally watch pre-recorded, pre-edited virtual tours, but Hong Kong's tours are conducted live.
안녕하세요. 싱크 맞춰주세요.
Behind the virtual tour that's real-time, interactive, and worth paying for is Shin Young-hoon, a South Korean tour guide based in Hong Kong. The pandemic has brought the tour industry to its knees, but Shin decided to push the boundaries.
I started the online tour because I needed to regain my confidence during the pandemic, and that I can do my favorite work again. Also, happiness and peace came to my family.
The response was overwhelming. On one night, his tour was joined by more than 1,600 Koreans simultaneously, all of whom had been craving a taste of Hong Kong. Just with 2 smartphones, a stabilizer, and a microphone, Shin navigates the streets of Hong Kong, guiding his audience seated in front of big screens in Seoul with interesting tales and anecdotes from his 20 years of experience as a tour guide. He says any individual tour guides with a storytelling ability and a little interest in technology can do this. Shin hopes his success in this new venture will inspire other tour guides to do the same and see that there is still a future in this industry. If a tour is like a movie, then the tour guide is the director, and the theater chains and booking platforms are the distributors, and the company producing the tours are the studios. In Shin's case, the studio is Guide Live. It's the first travel company in Korea that has turned the concept of live virtual travel into a marketable product. Co-founder Han Ju-young says even when tours go online, the essence of travel remains the same. Tour guides.
Compared with YouTube content, that is one of the most important things. You can actually talk with a tour guide. We can show some sort of streets, and we can actually go into the shop. And the audience can ask tour guide, oh, I would like to buy that. Oh, really? I can buy for you. So that depends on the tour guide. Your tour experience will be totally changed.
Guide Live has seen rapid growth in sales with virtual tour products over the past 8 months. despite some tours being forced to stop due to lockdowns in their countries. More than 30 live virtual tours are still on offer, charging a discounted price of around $90 for a 90-minute trip. So far, over 17,000 virtual tourists have taken part since they launched. In Hong Kong, the tourism industry continues to take a beating from the pandemic. But the suffering was more devastating for an industry that had already gone through a challenging 2019. Over the last 2 years, almost 200 travel agencies have gone out of business. Executive Director of the Travel Industry Council, Alice Chan, says those still in business are on the edge of collapse, downsizing or sharing offices with other agencies and laying off staff to stay afloat. Are virtual tours enough to save the industry?
Individual tour guide can do that, but they have to develop their other skills to plan their tours well, and they need at least one supporter. I mean, if there's a network problem, you have to contact with your clients. You actually need at least one person who can do their backup.
He adds that their tours are also guide-driven, so people have their favorite guides the same way movie buffs have their favorite directors. Popular guides have large followings.
Tourism board, they can do some promotion to other countries. Okay, we can provide this, and they can collect people. They can do some promotion because the travel agents can make money, tour guides can make money, and your government can make money as well.
There are fast movers tapping into this new market. A promotional video created by the Korea Tourism Organization featuring the country's landmarks with catchy yet oddly addictive music and kitschy dance moves hit over 500 million views. In a KTO survey conducted in Taiwan, 71% of 518 respondents chose Korea as the first country they would visit when air travel resumes in the future.
Online virtual tours aimed at potential tourists are expected to provide vicarious enjoyment and heightened interest in Korea, leading to an increase in the number of visitors to Korea from all around the world after COVID-19.
Now, the KTO is gearing up to offer live virtual field trips for Hong Kong students from May. In this new era of virtual travel, how can we travel without traveling?
The reason why people travel is not to arrive, but just to travel.
In Korean expression, we say O2O, online to offline, or offline to online. So if you end right after the real tour, when you come back, you want to remind your unforgettable memory, things like that. And you just join again. Hey, Mr. Shin, I was there for about a year ago. I want to see you again.
In October 2020, a Miami-based art collector spent almost $67,000 US on a 10-second video artwork titled Crossroad that he could have watched for free online. Recently, he sold it for $6.6 million. The collector, Pablo Rodriguez Fral, had bought a new type of digital asset known as a non-fungible token, or NFT, that has exploded in popularity during the pandemic, as enthusiasts and investors scramble to spend enormous sums of money on items that only exist online, digitally. Rodriguez Fral says blockchain technology allows the items to be publicly authenticated as one of a kind, unlike traditional online objects that can be endlessly reproduced.
Same argument as, you can go into the Louvre and take a picture of the Mona Lisa and you can have it there, but it doesn't have any value because it doesn't have the provenance or the history of the work. Again, the reality here is that this is very, very valuable because of who is behind. It's a full career of a like a generation career in this space and being the best of the best.
He was referring to the artist of the video, named Beeple, who is, in reality, this man, Mike Winkleman. Seen here with a work called 5,000 Days, which he recently sold for $69 million. The auction houses have been all over this.
We are in a very unknown territory. In the first 10 minutes of bidding, we had more than 100 bids from 21 bidders, and we were at $1 million in 10 minutes.
Non-fungible refers to the items which cannot be exchanged on a like-for-like basis, in contrast to fungible assets like dollars, stocks, and those heavy bars of gold. Examples of NFTs range from digital artworks and sports cards to pieces of land in virtual environments, or the exclusive use of a cryptocurrency wallet name. The computer-generated video sold by Rodriguez Fral shows what appears to be a giant Donald Trump collapsed on the ground, his body covered in rude slogans, in an otherwise idyllic setting. Meaning? Irrelevant, it sells. Investors caution, however, that while big money is flowing into NFTs, the market could represent a price bubble as things continue to grow.
The hype is extremely high right now. People definitely know, well, it's not just 0.1% of people that are knowing about NFTs now. It's maybe a few percent in the world, which is there's still plenty of room for growth.
NFTs could be benefiting from the hype around cryptocurrencies and blockchain, as well as virtual reality's potential to create online worlds. The hype around these digital assets continues to grow, as do the dollar figures, with one platform processing $250 million worth of transactions since its launch last October.
Coming up on Money Matters, we go to Cheung Sha on Lantau Island to look at how residents have embraced a beachside lifestyle. Stay with us. Welcome back to Money Matters. Developers have eyed Lantau's lifestyle potential for decades. The mixture of low-rise housing and scenic countryside appeals to many house hunters. As we continue our tour of Islands District properties, Alice Kahn checks out a detached house where residents can enjoy beach living.
This week, we set off from our last stop in Mui Wo and headed south to Cheung Sha. Cheung Sha is a rural area. Developers started to build detached houses on the mountain slopes years ago, overlooking the most notable feature of the area, Hong Kong's longest beach. The size of detached houses here range from 1,000 to as large as 5,000 square feet. Rents range from $35 to $45 per square foot. To rent a detached house at White Sands will range from $100 to $150,000. This two-story detached house is 1,600 square feet. The landlord has asked for $75,000 or $43 per square foot. It comes with a 2,000 square foot garden. The house has undergone millions of dollars in renovations, so the landlord has upped the rent. This is the dining area. The size is about 300 square feet. It can easily fit a dining table. This bar table separates the dining area and the open kitchen. All the equipment in the kitchen is new. It has tons of storage. A staircase leads down from the dining area into the living room.
This is the living room. This living room is about 400 square feet. You can put a TV set here, sofa here. It can also fit a big coffee table.
The house is about 30 years old and needed a thorough reno.
Actually, the whole house has been redone. The flooring here in the living room and the windows are new. In the past, this window was smaller. Now the window is bigger and the breeze can come in. Apart from changing the windows, floor-to-ceiling glass panels were put here. More natural light filters in, and there's also a sliding door leading to the outside. The garden is about 2,000 square feet. Plants and trees can be grown here. And there's a platform here. You can have a barbecue or a paddling pool for kids.
There is a guest room on the other side of the ground floor.
This guest room is about 150 square feet. Tenants usually use this as a guest room or as a study.
One side of the room is a floor-to-ceiling glass window overlooking the garden. The bedrooms are all upstairs. The ensuite master bedroom is about 300 square feet. The bathroom is about 80 square feet.
This room is about the size of a studio flat in the city. You can put a 6-foot bed on this side and a big wardrobe on the other side. And the landlord has altered the architecture to allow light to filter into the room. For example, this was originally a wall, but now it's floor-to-ceiling glass.
The master bedroom has a large terrace.
Outside is a 200 square foot terrace. The living space is larger and it's far from other houses. It has tree views. You can hear the birds singing.
There's another ensuite bedroom, 200 square feet, and a 40 square foot bathroom. It doesn't have a terrace, but the light can filter through the glass wall and brightens the whole room. The rooftop has some sea and green views. The agent says the villa market has strengthened in the past 6 months because the rents are less than the city.
I think it's 50% cheaper. For instance, this 1,600 square foot house, the asking rental is $75,000. If you rent a similar sized detached house in the Southern District, I believe it must be more than $100,000. Tenants here are mainly expats. They've moved here from the Southern District. And some senior-level pilots also live in this area. Probably their house allowance has been cut, so they moved to Lantau. The environment is better, it's more spacious, but the rent is lower. And some tenants are semi-retired. They don't need to go to work every day, so they rent a house on Lantau.
She also has clients who rent it here as a holiday house.
Some clients have nowhere to go, so they rent a house on Lantau for the holidays. There's a beach. They can also hike and cycle.
About 50 village houses dot the area too, some of them right down at the beach. They can go for about $10,000. Jake Johnson and his wife run a small coffee shop in Mui Wo. They've lived beachside for 10 years.
The beach and the quiet. I can open my windows at night and hear the waves, and that's nice. When you pull into the entrance of the village, it's back a bit from the road, so you can't ever hear the street. You can't hear cars drive by. You can't. So all you hear is just the trees and the wind and the waves.
Cheungsha, literally long sand in English, used to be a fishing village. Now it is a paradise for water sports and nature lovers. Jake and his toddler take a stroll on the beach, looking for clams. Some shops sell or rent water sports equipment at the beach. A few restaurants serve the locals too, but they have to go to Puyo down the road for groceries. They can take a ferry from Mui Wo or go to Tungchung by bus or car to connect to the city. Developers plan to build more private villas nearby. The government announced it would put 2 plots of residential land in Cheungsha up for sale in this year's land sale program. One site is across the road from these villas. The other is in this area. Surveyor Vincent Chung says properties will look about the same as the existing stock in the area.
in terms of the plot ratio, both of them are 0.4 times. So this is very low-rise or low-density residential area. If we have to add up the like the construction cost or the development cost, so you can imagine that the sale price would be around, say, like 28,000 or even 30,000 per square foot, which is kind of the upscale residential price in Hong Kong.
There's a chance a high selling price will put upward pressure on prices and rents. Chung says he expects development will remain low-rise so that the beach life atmosphere will continue to attract residents to Cheung Sha. Eitan Asraf's cell phone snapshots are anything but mundane. The Israeli artist attributes his style to his near death from drowning in 2016. The train of a woman's gown flaring out to meld with sandy dunes. A real rainbow rising from a rainbow-colored umbrella. And tracing an actual road with a real paintbrush, but with an optical effect. His unique perspectives vary across many scenes and locations. He's taken to the empty streets and roads across the country, creating a series of self-portraits depicting him with a face mask, walking through streets during lockdown. The accident happened when Asraf went on a powered parachute tour to film the southern Israeli landscape. The engine stopped working above a kibbutz reservoir, and Asraf crashed into the water and nearly drowned. After several hours of rescue efforts, Asraf was pulled out of the water by a rescue team. But he was critically injured and suffered a clinical death. He says the accident had a major impact on his art as he searches for new and rare angles seeking to convey the beauty of life. One series that gained popularity depicts models draped in vivid colored fabrics in different countries, and women holding colorful umbrellas against different landscapes. With 108,000 Facebook followers and more than 56,000 on Instagram, his pictures are getting ever more attention as he positions his mobile phone to achieve the desired surreal effect. He says since he came back to life, he's chosen to document life from unusual perspectives. Documenting from slightly different angles is where the true magic lies. He says everything we see with our eyes was created for us. We choose whether we want to record it or ignore it. He's opted for the former. Otherwise, he'll miss the chance, and then it will be too late.
That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. Next time on Money Matters, the sedate suburb of Discovery Bay as our Islands District property tour continues. See you then.